questions, and let me address the first one to Administrator Bridenstine. And it is this: when we take a look at the cost overruns, when we take a look at the missed deadlines in regard to JWST, what are your options when it comes to contractor accountability for this particular mission as well as for others?
So for this particular contract, it's cost plus an award fee. And the award fee is the profit, because other than that, the contractor is working at cost. The award fee is based on a set of metrics that NASA determines. Technical capability is included in that, cost, schedule, business administration is included in that. And during the course of evaluating the contractor, we're making determinations as to what their award fee will be. So a couple of things here. Number one, their award fee has not been as good as it otherwise would have been, so that has, in essence, hurt their bottom line. And number two, when there's a cost overrun or a schedule delay, as we have right now, there is no award fee. So they are, in essence, working right now at cost.
Okay.
Now, ultimately, as has been identified, there's going to be a commissioning process of the satellite once it's in space. And there are potential award fees in that. Those potential award fees add up to, if they were to maximize it, it would add up to about $60 million. We have already taken off the table $28 million of that $60 million, which again is not helpful to the contractor and hurts their bottom line. It is also true that the remainder, 30 million plus available, they're going to have to perform in order to accomplish and achieve that award fee, which is again their only profit. Okay. It is also true that there are provisions in the contract to actually claw back previously earned award fees. And I want to be really clear, Mr. Chairman, we don't want any of that to happen going forward. We want success going forward, which means that the punishment they have already received would be the punishment they will receive. That doesn't guarantee that's how it's going to be going forward. Right. But ultimately, we want them to be successful, because if they're successful, then we are successful. And so those are some of the tools that we have in our belt.
Okay, that is really helpful, all those options that you just mentioned. I appreciate that. Next question is there any legislation that Congress can pass that will help you enforce contractor accountability? Do you need any more authority than you already have?
We have really good authorities that we utilize right now. We have what's called an acquisition integrity program that's administered by the Office of the General Counsel at NASA. The acquisition integrity program ultimately has provisions by which a contractor can be suspended or can be debarred. Again, we don't like exercising those authorities, but under the federal acquisition regulations, those are tools available to us. If there's a law that Congress could pass, one of the things we're doing right now is we are taking some of our best talent and we are embedding them with Northrop Grumman in this process. NASA, we like to count ourselves a smart buyer. When I say that, we have, and this is absolutely true, we have really intelligent and capable and qualified people that we can take off of other projects and put onto this project, for example, and we are doing that right now and embedding them with the contractor. That's smart buying. One of the challenges we have going forward is a lot of the talent is going other places because of the way we hire. So if you could pass one law, maybe direct hire authority could help us ultimately keep our smart buyer capabilities.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bridenstine. Mr. Young, how do you think the program management at JWST compares to other programs that you've analyzed?
It depends on how far back you, excuse me. It depends on how far you're going back in the program. I mean, looking at the charts that you had this morning, if you go back to, say, the first confirmation that I'm familiar with, where I think JWST was confirmed by NASA at $2.75 billion with a 2011 launch. You know, the cost have increased roughly a factor of 3 since that time period.
I was primarily talking just about the program management itself in isolation. Do you consider it to be one of the worst, one of the average? How does it compare to others?
I'm kind of sneaking up on that answer.
Okay. All right, I've got limited time, so I hope you'll sneak up quickly.
I'll sneak fast. Okay, so if you look at the program, it's grown a factor of 3 in a decade. It is hard to take a program with those characteristics and conclude it's anything other than a not well-managed program. and by comparison, not a well-managed program.
Okay. Any description as to what you think of a program that cost 19 times what was anticipated and is 14 years delayed?
My description would be the same, poorly managed.
Okay. And what about recommendations? And Jim Bridenstine mentioned a couple of the options that he had, sanctions. Do you have any recommendations going forward for what we might do with some of those fees and some of the profit, and how that can be used to encourage Northrop Grumman to perform better?
I think his comments were very good. I would really underline the fact that at this stage in the program, all of us, emphasizing all of us, need to be focused on maximize the probability of JWST being successful. So if I'm speaking only as an individual, but if I had this problem, I would take all of the available fees that currently exist, be they the fee on work to be done, be award fees that have not been awarded, be in future award fees. I'd put them all together, and I'd put them in one lump sum, and I would have the criteria for getting them, the quantity and quality of data returned by JWST after it's on orbit. So I would turn every dollar yet to be awarded into an award fee based on mission success.
That is a very good suggestion, which I endorse, and I thank you for mentioning it today. The gentlewoman from Texas, the ranking member, is recognized.